All right, my name's Shane. I am 45 years old and I live in London. And I have decided to just put my voice on the internet. Um, I live a crazy old life and I want to talk about it. It might not interest anyone, but I figure that rather than just kind of keep it in the box, I'll just tell you about it. I write prolifically. I'm a writer for a living, and I perform. I make music. I teach. I also drive a van around London with tofu. You know what tofu is? Might have some in the fridge. Hold on. No, I haven't got any. But I've got some cheese. And tofu, I think tofu is kind of, it could be considered like uh, the Asian equivalent of cheese. It's kind of made in a similar way, and it's delicious. And my mate, who's a little Scottish guy, he just adores China. His name's Neil, and he's got a factory in Brick Lane. He'll kill me for telling you that. Actually, the last thing he wants is to publicise himself. But it's delicious. He makes his tofu by hand because he's obsessed with China, and he's perfected it. And I jump in a white van every Wednesday and Friday and drive it round to various places like Whole Food restaurants and Whole Food shops, and I drive it round to I jump and I jump in a van every Wednesday and Friday and drive it around to Whole Food shops and restaurants, like Japanese restaurants in particular, adore it around London. So I get to see this amazing city, which is one of my favourite cities on the planet. I mean, I live here, I call it home, and I'm in love with it. I'm so proud to be from London because in London, everyone is from everywhere, which means that the community of London is formed from all of these disparate voices from all over the world. That's what London is. It's kind of, for me, it's almost a template of a kind of new world order, a brave new world where we're from everywhere. And therefore, we're not just from one place. So no one is a foreigner here, which means that we can hopefully learn to create a society which is more equal, which is what I want to do. We live in a world which is filled with all sorts of madness: racism, gender inequality, prejudice towards people who are different, like gay people or transgender people, and particularly people who are poor. We have to readdress that. We have to kind of look at why it is that people are getting so little money for making the clothes that I'm wearing. Oh, incidentally, this is Shikoko Studios. Our sound. There's probably a little thing here. Shikoko FM is a project in Nigeria that I'm going to in November. There's a place called Port Harcourt, a city, and I'm going out there to make some music with some residents of that city. They live in an area which is pretty impoverished. It's kind of being knocked down. The kind of politically incorrect term for it is a slum. But it just kind of means informal housing. The people who live there have got no rights. They don't own their property, so it can be knocked down at any point. So some friends of mine have organised this project, Shikoko Studios, and they're kind of just using it as a means to create an infrastructure where the people kind of have a voice, our sound. So that's what they're trying to do. Anyway, I make music, so I'm rolling out there in November to make some music. And there's some really good names that have been mooted to get involved with this project, like Michael Franti, whose first band was called Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy in the 90s, and Chuck D, who was the kind of leader of one of the most influential bands in my life called Public Enemy, and also Femi Kuti, who's an amazing musician and the son of my all-time favourite musician on the planet, who's called Fela Kuti, whose life has influenced me more than anyone else. Fela was a Nigerian who took on governments worldwide, particularly the Nigerian government. He formed his own independent state in Nigeria and invented a whole genre of music called Afrobeat, which is just phenomenal. This one man was such a powerhouse and a political force for good. It's surprising to me that people don't know who he is. For me, he's kind of up there with Bob Marley in terms of how much he has influenced the musical landscape, but he's not shared as much. And I have a feeling part of the reason that is because he's from Africa. And we live in a world where our music has been pumped from yeah, predominantly, when music first started to kind of come to public attention through radio and all that. Oh, I've got to shut my fridge because, saving electricity and all that. Oh. So, Bob Marley got released on Island Records, which was owned by a really, really nice guy called Chris Blackwell in London. And so Island Records, which was Chris Blackwell's outfit, kind of pumped that music out to the world. But they were based in London and they had really good connections in the West. And people loved it because even though it was Jamaican, it was kind of pumped out through the kind of usual channels, whereas African music, where do you hear it? I mean, luckily we're living in a changing world where, we are becoming exposed to musicians from Africa, from Asia, from Latin America, who basically are phenomenal. Like Africa was the heart of music. It's where all the music that we listen to in the West was born. Rock and roll was born in Africa, really, with the drum beat. So I'm really happy that we're moving towards a time where we're beginning to be exposed to different kinds of music, African music and Asian music. I'm Indian in origin, so I'm a Brit. I was born in London, but my parents were born in Africa. They were born in Kenya, in East Africa. And their parents were born in a place called Gujarat, which is in India. And so I call myself British, but I also call myself Indian, and sometimes I call myself African as well. I love India so much. I go there a lot. I work there a lot. I've made some really good stuff in India, which I think I'm going to try and build a YouTube channel where you can kind of access that stuff. So I've made songs, for example, with particularly a kick-ass Indian music producer who's based in Mumbai, which used to be called Bombay. He's called Bundish Project, and we've made some amazing stuff together in the last few years. So this was going to be about a minute long, and I've just been like rabbiting on about stuff, and I've been thinking, am I allowed to swear? I don't want to swear because there might be kids watching. Today I went I found myself kind of weirdly hanging out with this Buddhist nun who was showing me some stuff. I made this today, yeah, brilliant. Which says on the bottom, you probably can't read it. It's a handprint, and it says, "May everything go perfectly for you." I totally love Buddhism. I love all religions, really. They're great stories. I've got loads of atheist mates who don't believe in God at all, or in the gods, which I completely understand. I mean, I'm not sure that I do, but I certainly believe in something. I wouldn't be able to tell you what it was, but some crazy stuff happens to me all the time, and I'm like, what's going on here? That this isn't normal. I'm 45 now, so I've been thinking about this stuff all of my life. Influenced by poets like William Blake, who wrote a book called Songs of Innocence and Experience a couple of centuries ago. I'm writing a show at the moment called Songs of Immigrants and Experience, which is kind of like it's going to be a book, it's going to be a novel, and it's going to be an album, and it's going to be a live show. That's a bit ambitious. Loads of my mates go, mate, you're being an idiot. Just choose one. One is like hard enough. But I'm like, no, I'm going to absolutely nail all three of them. You wait and see. It's going to take me time. And I'm getting there. I'm building a live show this year. I'm working with some amazing musicians to put on a live show. And the album's coming along too. It's all in kind of demo form, and it just sounds amazing. I can't wait to share it with you at some point. So back to the Buddhist monk. So there I was in it, like I just accidentally bumped into. I didn't expect to. And she was talking to me about, in Buddhism, you've got 5 precepts, which basically they're not like the commandments. They're not like in a way, they are. They're kind of almost like the Buddhist commandments. One is don't kill anything. So the tiniest insect that lands on my hand or whatever, or on my nose, rather than brush it off, I've got to take care of it because it's a kind of human life. The other is like be careful of the words that come out of your mouth, like right speak. So every time I swear, it's almost like an energetic frequency for Buddhists that kind of affects the world around one. So these days I kind of try and watch what I say, my language. The other is that don't steal anything. Now, I'm a bit of a cheeky monkey. I used to drink and I used to like have a couple of beers and just kind of nick like a glass from the pub that I was at or whatever. I'm trying not to do that anymore. Like I've got some wicked thing. Like look at this. This thing here. This beautiful vase here and these flowers. My mate got married in Lincoln's Inn, which is the most. It's where law almost started. Western law, English law started, and he got married there. And I got really drunk and nicked that thing because I was drunk. He was like, "Take the flowers home at the end of the night," but I just kind of walked out with a vase and said, oh, "All right, brilliant." So I'm a bit of a cheeky monkey, and I'm trying to stop that because like one of the precepts in Buddhism, even Buddhist, I kind of understand what they're talking about. It is don't steal. So it's don't steal, don't kill. What's your language, and be careful of kind of things that you put in your body, like intoxicants. Like I used to like a drink, and I'm trying to stop that now. And I used to do other things as well. I used to like smoke weed when I was little, and other stuff as well. But I'm stopping that. I just don't think that. It was, it's the past. It's what happened, and I kind of enjoyed it at the time. I like having fun. I really do, but I also understand that it has an impact on the world. So that's 4 precepts, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Let's think. Oh no, I'll leave it there. Anyway, I've been rabbiting on for ages. It's nice to meet you all. Probably the only person that's going to watch this is my mum. Hi mum, you all right, love? Let's see what happens. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.